Is the sheet working? I'm showing that it's trying to connect. Can you put something in there so I can see if I can see
sure.
it? So here's the deal. They're saying that Facebook, a former disgruntled Facebook employee, came up and said that Facebook's algorithm or people personally have suppressed conservative stories in the news feed on Facebook. We had the story earlier over the weekend. What do you think here, Christine? What are they saying?
Facebook is saying that there's no evidence right now that they intentionally suppressed stories that would be of interest to conservative interests, let's just say. So, and this is a disgruntled former employee, so we have to take that into consideration as well. But I have to say, it's something that Manaski and I have talked about, and we've actually talked about here. Sometimes we're perplexed. Facebook does change their algorithms quite frequently, but sometimes things that, we know our audience to be more conservative than not in this area. We know that sometimes there are stories that we think will do well, and they don't really get much traffic on Facebook. So, I don't know.
Well,
Facebook is denying right now that
they're
anything
saying it
happened.
doesn't. As a matter of fact, they put out a report on shares and pages and shows that the leading likes that show up in their news feed and the leading organization of shares is Fox News, although it has declined somewhat over the last year. But Fox News is in the lead when it comes to that. So that would be from a conservative slant. But to me, this is a bigger story than just Facebook, because this is all about what was talked over that internet equality thing. And they wanted to, what ultimately would do is give these big conglomerates the opportunity to be able to filter what you receive. And that could be, and it's said that it's done by liberal outlets and it's done by conservative outlets. So, for instance, Google is the king here, and probably Google, and who else is big? YouTube.
Well, YouTube and Facebook.
YouTube is really big, and Facebook. So these guys are could be able to filter what you actually see. So that the guy who's out there who used to be able to get a story up when you Google it and it shows up, now it might be on page 13 by the time you ever get to see it. So most people don't ever see it. I think the question is, and whether it is happening, I guess that is something that has to be determined. But the question is, can it happen? And it can. And should it be regulated? I don't know.
Well, we know that it can happen, I guess. But, there's another force at work here, too. And that is that conservatives tend to be older, right? As a general rule. And older people at this time do not utilize social media as much as younger people. So this was a conversation we were having during the break, too. Like the Bernie Sanders voter who is very hip to social media.
Very big. You're going to see they're very big on Twitter, especially Twitter.
Instagram, Twitch. They'll use YouTube.
Some people don't
Facebook.
even know what Twitch is. It used to be a thing you got whacked with. You go, that's what you get.
That's
for
a switch, too.
Mouthing off to mama.
You want the
Switch?
The Twitch or the Switch?
The Twitch is the guy with the little problem there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I'm with you.
But for some, YouTube and Facebook are the primary search engines. For the rest of us, Google remains the primary search engine. So if Facebook's algorithm has always favored, those stories that get a lot of clicks. Mm-hmm. So if you're young and you're into something that's
going to get a lot of clicks, that might tend to be a little more progressive.
So that might be a factor as well.
Yeah.
I was talking with somebody had posted on their own Facebook page, and I did notice this after they said it. You don't see many pro-Hillary posts on your Facebook feed. So you see like positive Donald Trump things or even anti-Donald Trump things. You'll see anti-Hillary things, but you won't see anything positive for Hillary on Facebook.
That's if you are liking Republican, conservative,
well, that's because
like that.
That's what I think part of it. Rach, each individual will see differently based on your likes. That's what's happening here. But beyond that, I think that there's a lot of Hillary hate going on there right now. That might be.
I was just saying, maybe she just doesn't have any followers.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of hate. And somebody says here, and she's right, isn't it? Older people that are on Facebook now, and that is true. But we're talking about kids versus adults,
right? And chances are that you're not posting every moment of every day as much as a much younger person is.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So the other thing about this story is the disgruntled employee said they would suppress things that were trending. So that would make certain posts go viral, I think. But one of the things he said, and I did think this was telling because he is a disgruntled employee.
Yep.
He said basically the manager on shift who monitored that might just not have been aware. He said sometimes they would suppress it and other times they just weren't aware of it, which to me is an easy out because
and you wonder, is this a problem from Zuckerberg down, or is this some manager that's like, listen, I don't like this story, and most of it is done with an algorithm anyway.
Right.
It's done by computer, and it's not, no human eyes even touch it. Because think about it, there's a lot of stuff there. How do you, unless you change the algorithm, how do you do it? Anyway, Facebook is going to have to now, because it's out there, try to prove to people that it isn't true.
Right.
And that's going to be interesting to see. Do you see NASA? I know Christine is huge on planets and space. You're big on space.
I was going to talk about this.
NASA has discovered a new planet.
Spacey.
Oops. I'm sorry. 1,284 new planets.
Outside of our solar system.
Yeah, that's big. And
Very cool.
8 or 9 of them would be something we could live with.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. The biggest collection of planets ever discovered, the powerful Kepler telescope, which seeks to find Earth-like planets, spotted the exoplanets, or worlds outside of our solar system. About 550 may be rocky, like Earth, while 9 could have surface temperatures allowing for liquid water. Interesting. It could be, the new deal. That's kind of funny. Anyway, they're saying, the story out in Colorado, where they're saying, boy, now that marijuana has come into play and it's legalized in Colorado, crime is going through the roof. Well, according to officials there, and according to a report in High Times, that is absolutely not true. That crime is actually down in Colorado. However, the smell of weed is up. Just for the record.
The Netflix subscriptions are through the roof out there.
Yeah. Doritos is king.
They're flying off the shelves.
Mm-hmm. The one thing about marijuana is, those guys are they're in a kind of a zone, right? It's like, yeah, we're going to rob the bank, but, and then they all start laughing.
We don't feel like running.
So there will be none of that.
What were we going to do?
Okay, here we go. How about the kid, as long as we stay with science a little bit here? The teen, a Canadian teenager, has discovered the remains of the lost Mayan city without ever setting foot into Mexico, combining his love for the night sky and a childhood fascination with the Mayan doomsday calendar. 15-year-old William Godori of Quebec used satellite imagery and star charts to uncover what is believed to be one of the largest Mayan settlements to have ever existed. Wow. How about that? And the kid is 15 years old.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? Using technology. How about this story? In South Brunswick, New Jersey, I believe, a man who police say sought revenge against the man dating his ex-girlfriend. Are you following this? It's tough to follow. It's really easy to follow. One girl, 2 guys. And
it's his ex, though. It's not like she was cheating.
I know. It's hard sometimes for these guys to give up.
Yeah,
they can't help it. Anyway, the revenge against the man dating his ex-girlfriend went to the wrong house. He went to the wrong house and caused $10,000 in damage to vehicles in the driveway, but it was the wrong house. Jinka Kalkar, 20, of South Brunswick, believed that a vehicle in the driveway of the home on Friendship Road belonged to a person who was dating his former girlfriend. Turns out it wasn't. Love that. And 1 man is dead and 3 injured after men were caught in gunfire at an Austin taco shop. It was over a taco. Just after the bar closed at around 2:38 a.m. on Sunday, May 8th, Austin police responded to a report of gunfire and what appears to be at the Tencha Tortilla Hencha Amanos taco truck. It was an actual taco truck, so it was a food truck. And when police arrived, they found 39-year-old Roberto Jose Castillo dead and 3 others injured. What could have caused all the mayhem? As the story goes, it all began when someone allegedly cut in line.
Oh my goodness.
For tacos.
Ridiculous.
Got to be careful out there. You never know who's wielding a gun.